This guy here is a pick from one of our subscribers. It is a DEWALT 20 volt. It also takes the flex volt battery. There's enough room in there. 550 PSI power cleaner. So basically it's a handheld pressure washer. 550 PSI, 1 gallon per minute. We're gonna go through this guy top to bottom. It does some interesting things. It's well worth sticking around. Stay tuned. So the description says it all. This is a self-contained 20 volt pressure washer that's limited to 550 PSI, right? That's not a ton, but it is enough to get some work done, and it does have some interesting qualities. And for example, it will suck water from anywhere, a bucket per se, or anything that you have around. If you have a boat and you have fairly clean water, there's a filter down at the bottom. It will suck up this water through this 20-foot hose and spray it out onto something. So that is something that might work well for you. It does work with quick disconnects only, and DEWALT does give them to you, which is nice. This is the plastic version that would go onto your hose because you can connect it to a garden hose. And then on the bottom here, there is this clear plastic section that clicks on it. It is the other end of this quick disconnect. And to say pulling it around with a garden hose makes me nervous is that's part of my worries. This is not like tool grade plastic. So when you hook this guy on and you have a heavy hose and you're dropping this thing, even if you do on accident, I'm fearful of something breaking. And unfortunately, I did knock it over with the hose on it. Nothing broke. That's good news. Basics here is you have a wand end. This is a pretty standard type of inexpensive wand end that you might have if you have other pressure washers. This to me is a little bit long for what we have because this is a compact unit. It just makes it a little bit longer. It's not the lightest thing in the world because you're carrying the pump, the battery, and if you have a hose or anything else connected, you're moving that around. But this guy comes with quick disconnect ends. So you have 15 degree, 25, and 40 degree tips. There is no 0 degree tip included, but there is a turbo nozzle. So this is a 0 degree tip that spins. It's 550 PSI. So your cleaning power is fairly limited no matter what you use. And what I wanted to do is start just working on cleaning a car because I figured I would learn this unit through cleaning a car, and then my plan was to go out further and really test how much I could clean with this unit if it was a replacement for a pressure washer. And I quickly found out that even trying to clean a little bit of bird poop, although it was a big bird, but it didn't really clean that well no matter what tip that I used. And then I thought I would try to switch over and clean some of the bugs off the front of the car because I thought, I mean, that's a great use if you have something, even a camper or a truck, something that's larger, clean the bugs off the front. And that car is ceramic coated, so those should have came right off, and they didn't, so it doesn't have a ton of power there. And then I wanted to use the soap dispenser, and this soap dispenser does not go on the wand. It basically, now you got to get it the right way. I had it the right way. Goes on and makes this short, which I like this shortness. In some ways, it would be nice if you actually could just put one of the quick disconnects on the end here, and then I'd have a nice compact system to move around with. But this basically shot out water and soap. Not exactly how I would like it to. I mean, it just mixed everything together and spit it out there, sort of like what a soap nozzle would do on a standard pressure washer. And maybe that's not too bad for what you're using it for. For me, and I say this all the time, I go back and I used one of the inexpensive Ryobi quick connects that will do soap and or no soap via a switch on the end. And that thing works excellent. I think it was 19 bucks at the Home Depot. I bought it like 2 years ago, and I pull it out in almost every one of these pressure washer videos because it's a great way to get soap on something. oh, it's just spraying cold water and soap doesn't clean much, but it is a great way to pre-soap things up, and that worked absolutely excellent with this model. Things that I thought were going to be, you know, kind of super cool, this didn't have the pressure that I needed. And I just wanted to continue on the process, so, you know, hand wash the car. And then I thought, well, let's see how we can rinse it off. And in rinsing it off, the thought comes through my head, you know, someone who doesn't have access or lives in an area who doesn't have a lot of water to use to wash their car could really benefit from this. At 1 gallon per minute, realistically, you can do a lot of spraying, wet things down, soap things up with very little water. So I was rinsing the car down with this connected suction hose, and it worked great. It was surprising that you could get the same pressure through the suction hose as you would the normal garden hose. There were a few hiccups here and there where I would lose a little bit of the suction, and it would take maybe 3 seconds for it to gain it back, but it was no problem. A little bubble in the hose came through and life was good. We kept going. It's just slow. So I guess if you did live in an area like that and you wanted to use this to save water, I bet I could wash full, start out, wet the car, soap the car, wash it by hand, and rinse the car with 5 gallons, which to me is just unthinkable. But it is also slow when you're going through that process. I mean, I could simply just pull out the hose and rinse the car down, although that's a lot higher GPM coming out of the garden hose, but I could rinse the car down in 30-40 seconds compared to using this, which probably would have taken me well over 5 minutes. So not a big deal. This unit is going to work for somebody, but if you're looking for an electric pressure washer, we have another one coming up here. It's actually a DEWALT version that's going to plug in that I think it's going to give you a lot more power than this. It's about the same GPM, but it's going to give you more power. And I think this is going to be useful for someone who is probably more going to be on the go and needs to get water from a lake to clean something, or not want to have a garden hose that goes out into an area and still wants to have just the usability of maybe a little bit of a pressure washer situation, but doesn't need that high GPM for anything they're doing. Now this does have a high and a low on it, so you could turn it down, and the instructions say for safety's sake. But reality is, even on high 15-degree nozzle, I put my hand right in front of this thing and moved it back and forth, and no issue. And I'm not trying to say that it's not, you know, I won't say go do it yourself, but it didn't bother my hands a bit. And I could tell by using it that I just don't have a ton of pressure coming out of the front. So I feel that it's safe, that you could use it on just about anything. And in fact, to prove that, I wanted to take the 15-degree nozzle and put it up against some cardboard, which this cardboard is standard cardboard. It's not hard, it's not thick, and I really had to get right up on that cardboard for this unit to start to tear some of it apart. And the reality is, even with the water and everything else they're soaking into this over long periods of time, I never got through the cardboard that I was spraying in, which that tells you something, I guess. And if I just took the nozzle and stood back a bit and sprayed it, and I'm saying a bit, 6 inches, you know, that never really even hurt the cardboard. So it works. It gives someone a great place to use this in different scenarios, more likely where you don't have a hose. I can see this if you have jet skis out by the water or a dock out by the water and you just want to go through and clean it, and you need a way to get water out of the lake, and you want to just go through and clean stuff up, and you have a scrub brush there and someone's got this unit and they can follow behind you. That would be wonderful. Picking this unit up to clean your deck at home, your house, your driveway is, man, that would be rough. And it just doesn't have the power to do it, and it would be so incredibly slow that you would probably not be really happy. But there are places, jet skis on the water, that you just want to spray things off, get things done. I could see it, and this hose, in this suction hose, is realistically what I think sells this unit to a lot of people rather than hooking it up to a garden hose, because for most of us, we have great pressure out of a garden hose and we can get a lot of things done by just spraying things down quick and using a little bit of our own cleaning strength by hand washing something than we would using this guy. So it has its place. It might not be for everyone, and I hope I went through this guy top to bottom enough to give you a good enough idea as to what it will and what it won't do. If you're buying this to wash cars, don't. If you're buying it to clean decks, again, don't. Houses know. Small things where you can pick up water from an additional source or carry water somewhere, and then you don't need that high GPM that you would out of a garden hose, and you don't need a lot of power out of your pressure washer. So stay tuned as we go to our next video, which means you should subscribe so you will get notifications that the next DEWALT pressure washer is coming out. I have really high hopes for this electric pressure washer, and a lot of you guys are always asking me, what one should I buy? We're gonna run that one through a lot of tests, make sure that it performs well as far as GPM, and show you what it'll do on houses, decks, concrete, even wash some other stuff up. So I think that one will be super interesting. Let me know what you think about this guy. Comments below, likes in the video. Again, subscribe, it's great. Thanks for your time, guys. Have a great day.